Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most epic, mind-blowing stories you've probably never heard in full detail. We all know about the crucifixion and the resurrection, but what happened in between? What did Jesus do for those 3 days? Buckle up, because we're talking about the ultimate showdown, the day Jesus went to the underworld to confront Lucifer himself. So, picture this. Jesus has just died on the cross. The whole world thinks it's over, that evil has won. But this was all part of a divine plan. While his body lay in the tomb, his spirit wasn't just resting. He was on a mission. He descended into the realm of the dead, a place often called Hades or Sheol. This wasn't the fiery pit of eternal punishment we often imagine. In ancient thought, it was more like a gloomy, shadowy waiting room for every soul that had ever died up to that point. Think about it, righteous people like Abraham, Moses, David, John the Baptist, they were all there, waiting. They lived faithful lives, but the full promise of salvation hadn't been unlocked yet. They were in a state of hopeful anticipation, waiting for the Messiah to complete his work. So, Jesus' first stop wasn't a battle, it was a reunion. He arrived as a triumphant king. A shining light in the darkness, to announce the good news. He was there to tell them, the wait is over. The victory is won. Imagine the sheer joy and relief flooding that place. But Jesus had another appointment to keep. He was heading for the main event, the confrontation with the one who thought he'd orchestrated the perfect defeat. Lucifer, the prince of darkness, believed he had finally triumphed by instigating the death of God's Son. He was probably gloating, celebrating his apparent victory, thinking he had outsmarted heaven itself. He saw a dead man's spirit entering his domain and likely thought, gotcha. That's when the tables turned in the most dramatic way possible. Jesus didn't arrive as a defeated victim. He came as a conquering warrior, the King of Kings. The Bible describes him as bursting through the gates of the underworld, not as a prisoner, but as the one in charge. This wasn't a negotiation, it was a declaration. Lucifer and all the forces of darkness were completely blindsided. They had used death, their most powerful weapon, against the author of life. It was like trying to drown a fish in water. The very thing they thought would destroy Jesus was the key to their own undoing. Jesus stood before Lucifer, not to fight in the way we might think, but to claim his authority. He held the keys to death and Hades. He had beaten sin and death on their home turf. The scripture says he disarmed the powers and authorities, making a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them by the cross. This was that moment. He stripped them of their power. He showed them that their reign of fear was over. Lucifer, who thought he had won, was now staring at his own defeat, utterly powerless before the resurrected Lord. He had no claim on Jesus, and he had no claim on those who belonged to him. And with that victory secured, Jesus did something incredible. He led the righteous souls, all those who had been waiting, out of that place of shadows. This is often called the harrowing of hell. He was like a divine liberator, leading a grand procession of saints from captivity into paradise. He didn't just save those who came after him, he reached back in time to rescue those who had been waiting for him. He opened the gates of heaven for all believers, past, present, and future. So, when we think about the 3 days between the cross and the empty tomb, it wasn't a period of inactivity. It was one of the most pivotal moments in history. It was a cosmic rescue mission, a declaration of ultimate victory, and the final checkmate in a divine game of chess. Jesus didn't just die for us, he went to the very heart of darkness to reclaim what was stolen and to set the captives free. It's an incredible story of power, love, and ultimate victory. It shows us that no darkness is too deep, and no power is strong enough to overcome the light. What do you guys think? Does this change how you view the Easter story? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into these amazing stories. See you next time.